gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Canes Calling is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code Canes Calling for $20 off your first order. And About the Fans. Use promo code CCI for 50% off your entire order.
What is going on, Canes fam? I'm MattyIcee, he is Tony V, and this is Canes Calling live. Obviously, we're down a member. Caniacs might be joining us in a little bit. Our guy is on the road, so he's going to do his best to try to join us. But Tony, dynamic duo once again, back to back.
Yeah, man.
We doing this or what?
Let's do it.
Ayo. So, man, obviously, Canes had a big game over the weekend. We'll get into it in a little bit. We got some other stuff we got to cover. We're going to do some shouts out. We need to remember to pay the bills this week. We always forget to do that.
Yeah.
That's important. We're going to talk about some other games as well. Preview.
Write it down.
Yeah. Don't worry. I wrote it down this time. I usually don't, but I wrote it down this time, I swear. We'll talk about the Middle Tennessee game, do our Reddit as well, and then our really random rankings, which I'm excited for. So let's get after it, man. What do you say?
Let's get into it.
So, man, I don't know if you saw this. I posted it in the OBB Legend chat. So if you're not a member, by the way, definitely join. Both of us write articles, contribute to the OBB Legend. You're missing a lot in that chat, too. It's a lot of fun. A lot of friends in there. Met a lot of cool guys in there. So I saw this on Instagram from the Red Cup Miami Instagram account. I don't know if you follow them on Instagram.
I don't.
So it's basically a post. It says top 10 athletes students would risk it all for. Do you remember this? I sent this to the group.
I do.
So number one, I mean, not surprising. They have like millions and millions of followers on TikTok, is the Cavender twins. But number two is my guy, Jordan Miller.
Your boy.
Shout out to Jordan Miller on the basketball team. Let's clarify that. Jordan Miller on the basketball team, my guy. And I forgot who said it in the chat, but maybe they'll remind me after they see this. But someone was like, man, they had to have both the Cavender twins to take up Jordan Miller. So you should feel good about that. Others on the list, Lou Headley was number 3. Isaiah Wong, number 4. Jordan Losi, I don't know who that is. Chance Williams was number 6.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Tyler Van Dyke, number 7. Number
not
8.
So sure that not so sure he's ranked that high anymore.
Yeah, I think Jake took his spot up there.
I think so.
Xavier is on here too at number 9,
Yep.
And then Mia Diffley. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but shout out to all of them. But my guy Jordan Miller, number 2.
Attaboy.
There we go, man.
Yeah, man.
Winning on and off the court. I actually sent that to him and I tagged him in it, and he just sent me the laughing emojis. It was funny,
hey, man.
But yeah,
the fans will risk it all for him, whatever that means.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Tony, you got a shout out tonight or what?
Yeah, man. It's a silly shout out, but I'm just happy, and a shout out to HBO for bringing back Game of Thrones with some respect, man.
There you go.
With some, putting some respect back in the Game of Thrones name. Such a shame how the original series ended, but this halfway through the first season of this, it's been so good, so good. I'm very, very happy, and a shout out to HBO for doing it right and taking their time with it.
Yeah. Also, too, you know that Andor comes out today, I think, right?
Today, yeah, 3 episodes.
Yeah.
3 episodes dropped
So
today.
we're gonna be watching that right after the show. Well, at least
Yeah,
I
I
am.
think
I don't
so.
know about you. Yeah.
I think so.
Well, I have dinner with the lady first, but
Yeah, well,
when that's done,
priorities.
then yeah, priorities. Also, we got Robert here in the chat. Caniacs, shout out to DJ Ivy.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
We'll get into
We'll
that
get there.
soon enough. But just wanted to post that. He is the president and CEO of the DJ Ivy fan club. But we had a very interesting, really random rankings that I'm intrigued and I really want to get into. So why don't we get into that, Tony?
Let's do it.
Ayo. All right, Tony, I want you to go first. I want to see your list first, and then I'm going to get into mine. So top 5 fictional athletes.
Fictional.
What do you have in your top 5? Yes.
All right. My number 5. It's an individual, but I can also group them together. I put Lola Bunny in the Toon Squad as my number 5.
Okay, that's a good one.
My number 4. He's not an athlete, but he's a sports figure. Gordon Bombay, classic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Number 3, Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn. Major League is one of my favorites. Number 2, Henry Rowan Gardner, Rookie of the Year.
Okay. Yeah.
And number 1, Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
Benny
so we
the
got
Jet
two.
Rodriguez.
We got 2 of the same names.
Nice.
So my list is a little different. You'll see when I get to the top of it. But I had number 5. I had Smash Williams. I don't know if you ever watched Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite characters in that show, but he kind of he's honorary, I guess, honorable mentions because I thought
Outside
of someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, right as we started this. But my number 5, so this is going to be a debate in itself because there's some people that say NASCAR is a sport, some people that say that it's not. This man is an athlete in my eyes, and that's Ricky Bobby. Anytime you are in a car with a wild animal that is, I think it was a puma.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
He's a gladiator in a car.
Yeah.
Like you can't argue that. Number 4, I had Jesus Shuttlesworth from He Got Game. One of my, probably my favorite basketball movie. Number 3, I had Benny the Jet. I would debate it putting him higher. He was right there. He was actually in the number 2 spot. Then I kind of switched him around. But I mean, Sandlot is a goated movie, man. It's anyone that says it's an overrated movie, like I'm ready to throw hands.
Didn't have a childhood.
It didn't have a childhood. Number 2 though, I have Rocky Balboa. I mean, when you have multiple movies, that did relatively successful, like, I mean, speaks for itself.
He deserves to be on there.
Yeah, sure. And I tried to make it so it wasn't just like all one sport. I could have had a ton of more basketball guys on here. And number 1, I don't know if you're gonna know who this is a guy by the name, or a kid by the name of Pablo Sanchez from Backyard Baseball.
Baseball, yeah.
Number 1, baby.
Yeah, nice.
Dude would just hit dingers. Hit dingers, bro.
Pablo Sanchez.
Yeah, easily the most goated, like, fictional character, at least in baseball. I was honestly, when I started going down this route, I was like, dang, I don't know if you ever played MVP baseball, but it didn't have Barry Bonds in it because it was like against his, I don't know, he owned his own rights or whatever. Yeah. So it had this guy by the name of John Dowd. So I was like, is that cheating? Like, I don't know. So I was like, so I was like, I'm just not going to include it. And there was a similar situation with Michael Jordan. He wasn't in one of the basketball games as well, but I was just like, you know what? That's kind of cheap. Pablo Sanchez, that's legit. Like,
he's legit fictional. Yeah. It's like if you were to put Tony Hawk from Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It's not really Tony Hawk, but
you can't do that. So I was like, I'm not going to go that route. It's not good, man. I gotta be consistent with this, and I gotta be I got to be good with it. That's the easy way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got one here from Sarge on Twitter.
Oh,
My
yeah.
boy Sarge. He got no particular order. Flash Gordon, Rocky, Paul Crew, Shane Falco, and Bobby Boucher. Bobby Boucher is a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a good list. I thought about him. You know who I also thought of? Was what was his name from Any Given Sunday? The quarterback, was it Willie Beeman or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I thought about him too.
Well, Sarge's first answer was Uncle Rico, which hilarious.
I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to that either.
No, absolutely not.
There was another comment too. Oh yeah, from Audi Pridgeon, I think it was. Yeah, Flash Thompson. He said it's another one. I mean, someone from the comics and stuff. You know, that's a good one as well. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Canes fam. I was trying to get that one out earlier so we could get some more answers, but you know, we can do that on the next one.
Yeah.
But man, I was excited for that one. I think that was one of the best ones we had in a little while.
That one definitely made me think. It made me have to do some Googling. Be like, let me see some ones I may be missing from this list.
Yeah. We got to get Caniacs list if he gets in here, or if he sends it to us and we can say it as well.
For sure.
But with that being said, man, should we dive right into this Texas A&M game?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week for Canes, for everybody, honestly, and everybody around the program. I want to start by saying, what TVD said yesterday was unfortunate, but the headline was completely taken out of context. The headline that Barstool put out on their tweet was so wrong and against anything he said. I understand what he was saying, but he's also got to be a little bit smarter than that. You know, there's different ways of saying what you really mean when you're trying to say that. You can say, like, it's always nice to go into an away stadium and shut the crowd up, but I love my Miami fans. All he had to do was mention I love my Miami fans at the end, and nobody would have batted an eye about that shit. But again, just taking out of context, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the kid, man. He's had enough shit going on this week to have that on top of him,
Yeah. Well, and do you think that this kind of got blown more out of proportion because of that? That's what I kind of feel like.
I think
I didn't think this was really that big of a deal at all. I feel like, he should have adjusted what he said a little bit, but like, I didn't think it was a big deal, to be honest.
Yeah. I think everyone was already on edge with him and the offense and what happened at Texas A&M, and this kind of just blew everybody out of, threw everybody overboard.
I feel like the fan base it was very polarizing. It was very divisive for a little bit, because there was people, seriously wanting like Jake Garcia, to get, I don't know, seriously, like start next game or like get some playing time or at least a look. And I just remember I was posting on Twitter. You saw me, and I was just, me, I just like to troll people. And people took it seriously and just went with it, that I like actually thought a certain way. And it's funny, man.
There's a Garcia on Twitter account now, which is absolutely hilarious. I'm convinced it's run by one of our guys. Convinced.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
convinced. Yeah. We have a guy in mind. I think we're thinking about the same guy.
Yeah, I already said his name. I know who it is.
It's running running the Garcia on Twitter account.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, let's get right into this game, because I know you guys did a Twitter space right after the game. I wasn't able to join because I was at a friend's house. I didn't want to just be on my phone. I had it open for a little bit just to kind of see what people were saying, but I wasn't there for like the immediate, instant reaction. But I felt like the thing that was being universally said was like that we were probably the most rational Twitter space that was active. That most people were relatively.
Mentioned that. Yeah, a couple people mentioned that.
I heard it a couple of times just while I was listening. But here's the thing. I think that there was such a negative reaction. And I don't like the comparisons of like this team is just like past Miami teams, because I feel like that's such an easy way out. And it's not true at all.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, you watch the effort they came out with, the intensity, like the fact that, we got punched a little bit, at the start, but we didn't back down. We were always, relatively close in the game. Obviously, it was a low scoring game, but I mean, I think it just kind of sucked, because I feel like we checked off a lot of the boxes of what we needed to do, right? We needed to dominate the line, right? I think we did that offensively and defensively. We didn't allow a sack. We sacked them like 3 times, had a few tackles for losses. The running game was really going. Different things of that nature. Our defense played really well, right? They essentially only gave up 10 points, I would say, right? Because obviously there was the drop punt.
It's hard to pin that muff punt touchdown on them.
Yeah.
28 yards. You're not going to stop a college team from going 28 yards to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
You're just
not. And then like 27 first downs versus their 16. Our 392 yards versus their 264.
We physically dominated the ball game. Like,
yeah,
I think that's what kind of left everybody with a sore spot. And then the absolute stupidest thing I've been seeing on Twitter is, oh, I'd rather have gotten blown out. No, you wouldn't have, man. No, you wouldn't have, bro. No, you wouldn't have. Because guess what? You've gotten blown out in this game for the last 20 years. The last 20 years, you've seen Miami be out of the game at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
End of the first quarter, down by 20 points. That's it. Game's over. Why the fuck are you going to watch the rest of the game? This team came and they showed and they played for 4 quarters, man. At least defensively. Offensively, too. You went through the stats. We just couldn't put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a very important part of football, scoring touchdowns. But damn, man, we played well. We played well enough to win. We probably should have won. We probably should have won by a couple touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, if we had Tua, maybe we would have maybe we could have put the ball in the end zone.
I mean, yeah. The thing I was gonna say is, though, I saw something. I saw this on Twitter from a few people. I don't know if it was in our. No, I don't think it was in our chat. It was mainly on Twitter. Was the comparison of this offense to the Dan Enos offense? Yeah. And I was kind of taken aback. Like I was like, I don't know how that's possible. I mean, we're rushing like 5 yards an attempt, versus, I mean, we couldn't run the damn ball when he was our offensive coordinator. I think we averaged like 3 yards a rush. That's awful. I don't get it. I think it's, whenever you have like something that looks like pro style, right? You're just going to compare the offenses and be the same. But let me ask you, because we were talking about the trouble scoring, right? I mean, red zone was a big part of that. I think, how many times were we in the red zone? Was it 4 or 5 times?
It was I think it was 5 times.
Okay. And then we got 3 field goals.
We kicked 3
obviously. Field goals. One of them was blocked, one we missed. The struggles in the red zone, how much do you attribute to coaching, play calling versus, the players actually, going out there and, executing?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
Running the ball on 3rd down and goal from the 5-yard line doesn't strike me as, a player's decision to do that, especially if you know you're not going to go for it on 4th down. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more balls from Mario and from Gaddis going for it on a couple 4th downs, like on the fourth down that Borregales missed his field goal. Pretty sure it was 4th and 2. He attempted a 49-yard field goal. Why not just attempt to go for it? You can't. You shouldn't trust a college kicker, especially a sophomore, to kick a 49-yard field goal on the road. It's just you're playing with fire at that point. You know what I mean? So why not just attempt to get 2 yards? You've been carving them up 3, 4, 5 yards at a time. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit of both. The plays were there to be made. It's not like TVD was throwing into. It's not like TVD was throwing into the into guys that were covered all the time. There were guys running open, but TVD was either missing them, or we also had 7 drops.
Yeah,
we had 7 drops. That's a problem. All the talk about wide receivers are catching the balls and they haven't dropped the ball in the first 2 games. All that shit's out the window now. All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
I was going to say, I want to get to the receivers, but first because Caniacs just posted this. Do you think that this is going to be a trend like moving forward essentially? Or do you think this is kind of just like a one-off game where we struggled in the red zone?
I hope it's a one-off game. I hope it's the fact that Texas A&M have a bunch of 5 stars on that defense, and then when you get into the red zone, obviously the field is cramped and it's harder to execute. That's why people have, some teams have some trouble in the red zone. I don't think that's going to be an issue because I don't think that there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to outbully us in the trenches. You know what I mean? I think those days are done. I think those days of teams coming, like lesser teams coming and bullying on our offensive line, even though we saw a little bit of it against Southern Miss, but that wasn't necessarily bullying our offensive line. It was more of the scheme and the stunts and the stuff that the defensive line was doing. It was confusing the communication of the offensive line. This was one game where I thought the offensive line was going to get bullied around, and they didn't. They didn't get pushed around. And maybe Clemson's another game where they might get pushed around a little bit. But again, I don't see. Maybe North Carolina has some guys on the defensive line that can push us around.
Yeah.
But as long as the key is for me, man, we need someone in that receiver room to step up. Somebody to if it's a guy that's there already, if it's Mario's got to move somebody to the wide receiver room, something. You got to get Jaleel Skinner in there more often. In the goal line set, he's 6'5", however tall he is. Throw some fade routes, throw some screens, throw some quick outs. Something in the passing game in the red zone.
Yeah, I think we kind of saw too. We had talked about like players that we think need to have big games for us to have a chance to win, right? And I think both of us had kind of said Will Mallory could play a part in that. He was relatively quiet at the start of the game. I think the fourth quarter, he had like 3 or 4 catches for like 30, 40 yards, and he was big. He got tackled out of bounds, and he fell on, I don't know if you remember that, he fell on his head.
He fell on top of his head.
Yeah, that honestly looked really scary. I thought he had a serious neck injury, so glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Do you think moving forward, he's a guy that we can rely on more?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think as he gets more comfortable in the offense, you also gotta think that everyone's going through a transition in offensive coordinator as well. It's a completely different offense than what Lashley was running last year. And I think that's what we're seeing a little bit with TVD is his comfort in the offense. Obviously mechanically there's something going on as well. But I think hopefully the more comfortable he gets, hopefully the more concepts him and Gaddis are able to fit in from last year's scheme, maybe some RPOs, some of the stuff that TVD was very comfortable with last year. Because I'm pretty sure Gaddis, it's pretty easy for him to be able to enter stuff like that. I think the more he's in the offense, the more comfortable you're going to see him. I think I saw this on Twitter. I think it was on Twitter that maybe holding back the offense a little bit in the first 2 games ended up being a detriment to the team, to the wide receivers, to TVD. I hadn't thought of that, but it's a pretty interesting point. But yeah, man, the more comfortable he gets, the better this offense is going to look. So hopefully, we've got Middle Tennessee now that should be a cakewalk. Should be.
Yeah.
And then we got a bye week before North Carolina comes in. So we've got some time for TVD and Gaddis to sit down and just hash shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tony, I got 2 stats for you. One's for Will Mallory, one's TVD. So the Will Mallory, he had 6 receptions for 56 yards. Obviously, he was big in that fourth quarter. It was the most receptions he's had since November 6, 2020 against NC State. That was a game where De'Aaron King balled out. You remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we won by a field goal. TVD had the lowest completion percentage since his second start against North Carolina with, I believe it was 51.7.
I remember that start too.
Yeah.
That's the start where he came out horribly in the first half. In the second half, he had to start lighting it up. We were down a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
And we got close, We got close. Yeah, I mean, honestly, your star, quote, Heisman hopeful quarterback on the road against a primetime opponent, 21 of 41, 51%, it's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
It's not going to cut it. Honestly, it's just not good enough. Obviously, there were 7 drops, but he flatly missed some guys too. He overthrew a couple deep balls. That long crossing route to Mike Redding, that ball sailed down and to the left. So something's going on there, and I hope with Middle Tennessee now and the bye week, it's something that can get corrected, something that can be fixed. Because if this is gonna be, if the offense comes out versus Middle Tennessee and they look like shit again, the boo birds are gonna come out, man. Yeah. From the 10,000 people that are gonna be at the stadium, the boo birds are gonna come out. They shouldn't, but that's just how Miami fans are.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, who do you think has the bigger adjustment to make, Josh Gaddis or TVD?
I think it's both, man. Okay. I think it's both, because I don't think Gaddis hasn't shown me yet that he's willing to mold the offense to the skills of his guys. Because clearly that TVD runs the RPO offense really well. And like we've seen with Lance's breakdown, I'm interested to see. I don't know if he's posted his breakdown from this game yet.
He did, actually. I was going to actually get into that next to close this thing up. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'll take a look at that when we're done here. Yeah, I think Gaddis, now that we know that the running game works, what they're doing in the running game, it's gonna be successful against 90% of our opponents. Now it's time to focus on the passing game, man. Now if it lacks because a wide receiver doesn't step up, then we got another problem. We got something we have to fix.
Yeah.
But if a wide receiver can step up and play well and play big and take that X role, take that wide receiver 1 role, with some pride, then I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. So, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with this game, or?
No, man. I don't want to remember it again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to for a little bit, because I wanted to bring up Lance's article from the OBB legend. I forget the name of the article the series. Is it just film review? I think.
Yeah, I think it's just film review. Yeah.
Just a film review. At the end of the article, you'll see it when you get into it, but he basically talks about how a lot of plays just didn't go Miami's way, and that was one of the determining factors of this game. And so, I mean, it really got me thinking. He mentioned Texas A&M, they dropped a pass from their RB that would have scored a touchdown. And he talks about, the Tyreek Stevenson muff punt, which led to them, scoring a touchdown. But then the thing I forgot about was Parrish on 3rd and 5. He was getting that little he got a little pass, but he ended up dropping it, and he had the field was open. He would have at least gotten the first down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Probably could have scored. And I don't know if that was one of the field goals we missed or if it was one of the ones we just made, but either way, that would have been a touchdown. The Jacoby George tripping before he got to the end zone. That's another touchdown. That was, I think a lot of people have talked about that one. And then the Anais Smith fumble where he recovers it himself when we had like 3 or 4 defenders right around. So, I mean, there's a good amount of plays that just didn't go our way that, you know, it's kind of like basketball, like 50-50 plays essentially, you know? But I mean, you have to put yourself in a position where you don't need to rely on that as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. The game, like I said, the game was there for the taking, you know, and we just also got to remember this is year 1, man. This is year 1 of Mario, year 1 of establishing the culture that Mario wants. And we saw it on display. We saw the team fought for 4 quarters. The team dominated in the trenches. Now it's just let's tweak a few things and score some goddamn points, you know, against big time opponents. We can score 70 points on Bethune. Anybody can score 70 points on Bethune. But scoring 9 at Texas A&M when we outgained them, out first down them, out everything them, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's negatives to this game, but I feel like there's a lot of positives for the long-term success of this program. But with that being said, let's pay some bills and then we can preview Middle Tennessee a little bit. Let's do it. So shout out to AB Jordan Nelson. You see it up there in the top leftish, right between Manscaped and SeatGeek. About the fans, they have the best Miami Hurricanes apparel, stickers, whatever you need. Make sure you use code CCI15 for 15% off. Also, next time you buy some tickets, make sure you use SeatGeek. They make buying tickets in the easiest way possible. They have a 1 to 10 rating scale that saves you time in finding the best deal. Make sure you use code CanesCallin to get $20 off your first order. And then our last one, Manscaped. Support for Canes Callin is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below the waist grooming, champions of the world. Manscaped offers prestige engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Both Tony and I have used this. I wouldn't trust any other shaver down there. It's, you know, that ceramic blade that makes it really easy to use. But join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code CanesCallin at manscaped.com. Once again, for 20% off and free shipping, use code CanesCallin. Woo! I need some water after that one, man.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
So, man, obviously we got the Middle Tennessee game coming up. We already talked about it a little bit. You know, the passing game, right? We want it, you know, did it struggle because of the first 2 games? You know, we obviously ran the ball a lot, didn't really show that much, you know, a lot of the vanilla play calling essentially. Do you think this is a game where they kind of turn it up a little more to try to get that thing going more? Maybe a little jump start?
I think they have to. I think they have no choice, honestly. I think the only way the players on offense can get more comfortable in the passing game is using the passing game.
Yeah.
You know, try to establish some deep passes. Try to, you know, get TVD on the run. Try to get them comfortable in the offense. This is the kind of game you need for that. You know, it's not North Carolina, it's Middle Tennessee State. So you should be able to physically dominate them for a bit and then, you know, work on the shit you need to work on.
Do you think too, I mean, I know we're talking receivers and receiving core and whatnot, but I felt like we didn't really see Jalen Knighton in the passing game that much. And it's something that we kind of saw, you know, last season more so. Do you think that's something that we see more of? They try to get him involved. I feel like Parrish has been more involved, if anything.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. He's dynamic. He's the more touches you get for Jalen Knighton, I'm all for it.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
think
all for it.
everyone.
Whether it's the passing game, the running game, on screens, on little quick outs, on fucking crossing routes, whatever. I don't give a shit. Just get him the ball.
Get them the ball. No,
Get him the
yeah.
ball. And you know
I
what?
agree with you.
One carry for Thad Franklin against A&M, it's criminal also, man.
Yeah.
You know, how
We
can you
could have
not put
used
in?
him in some of those red zone
That's what I'm
scenarios.
saying, man. You know, 3rd and 5, third and goal from the 5. You're not gonna put Thad Franklin in to pound some guys and get close. You know, that was another thing where I was kind of, when I saw the snap count, I was like, oh, that's weird. You know,
Yeah.
so
So
yeah, this should
but,
be a game that we handle quite easily. I mean, I've seen Middle Tennessee against FIU because, you know, my wife works at FIU, so I have to go to some football games. And I've seen them a couple times in previous seasons. They're usually pretty good at the passing game. You know, they can put up some points. I think they're averaging 30 points a game against two non-Power 5 opponents, but you know, it's still 30 points a game. I think they put up 45 last week against Tennessee State. So they're like an FIU Southern Miss type of talent. They're gonna have some dudes. They're gonna have some playmakers. So I expect it not to be very easy, but I expect, you know, what's the line at 27? I can see that. I can see that. Maybe the 35-10, something like that. You know what I mean?
Is that your score prediction?
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. 35-10.
Okay.
Unless if the passing game gets going, then it's going to be much more than that. But based on what we've seen so far, 35-10 is fair for me.
Okay. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I'm just going to do my score prediction as well. I'm going to go 41-13.
All right. Cool.
I think the offense gets going a little bit more than in terms of the passing game. But yeah. What was I going to bring up to you though? Oh, I saw something. I can't remember where I saw it, that their QB gets the ball out. I think it was in like 2.2 seconds or something, which is like at the elite level in terms of, you know, getting the ball out quick. Does that concern you at all or give you any worry?
Not really. I mean, if this is the DJ Ivy from A&M is the DJ Ivy we're gonna get for the rest of the season, then no, that definitely doesn't
I hope
concern me.
so. Yeah.
It concerns me in terms of the passing game. I mean, in terms of the pass rushing, you know, the sacks. They may not have enough time to get there. But if the corners can play some man, some physical man, you know, jamming the receivers on the line, you know, throwing them off their route so that they're not there where they're supposed to be in those 2.2 seconds, then you know, that gives the defensive line a chance to feast.
Yeah. What time is this game at, actually, by the way? I didn't even look it up. Is it
3:30 Eastern?
Oh, 3:30 Eastern.
3:30 Eastern, yeah.
Okay. Oh, man, I thought it was one of the early ones, and I was going to, you know, have to be eating breakfast as I watch
breakfast with the Canes.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of waited. So Caniacs had commented this a little while ago. Obviously, we're not going to preview this matchup as much as other games because of, you know, the team that we're playing. But where was it? Where did he post it? Oh, here it is. As of right now, watching this team 3 games in, do you want to change your preseason prediction? I think did you have 10-2 or did you have 9-3? I don't remember.
I had 9-3.
Okay. How do you feel about that number?
I'm still there.
I'd say 9-3, but I know I had said I'm closer to 8-4 than I would be to 10-2.
Yeah.
I think I would change that a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I think I would more lean to the upwards. Because honestly, like, I don't see any reason why we can't compete at Clemson. You know, I think, you know, based on what I saw against A&M, obviously it didn't go our way, but much different from, you know, us going into.
There's no reason why we shouldn't be a 1-loss team going into Clemson.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason.
Mhm.
Because think of the big opponents we have from now till then. It's North Carolina, and they've had their share of issues. They put up a shitload of points, but they can't play defense. They gave up
Yeah.
61 against App State, 40 points in the fourth quarter. We have Virginia Tech. Virginia doesn't seem to be as good as they've been.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion again, the yearly tradition. And then the for me the wild card in there is fucking Florida State, man,
Yeah.
because they're winning games that they were losing last year. They're finding ways to beat bad opponents, which they haven't done in a while. It's been a hot minute since they've beat Louisville. Uh, my boss, he's a Florida State alum. He's telling me that Malik Cunningham would chop him up the last 2 or 3 years, and it's true. Malik Cunningham would have his career days, but they're finding ways to win those games now.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that they're very good still. Depends on how injured Jordan Travis is. I know they also lost a couple of their best defenders, Jared Verse and a couple other guys.
Is he out for the season, Jared Verse?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he's an animal. He's a beast.
Yeah.
They're the wild card in there, man. Obviously they haven't really played anybody. LSU sucks. We've seen that.
Yeah.
They played Duquesne. It's Duquesne, the basketball school. And then they played Louisville tough on the road, a place that's been hell for them, basically. And they beat them with a backup quarterback. So
Yeah.
FSU is the wild card right now on the schedule. Obviously, it's a home game. I'm not gonna go back on what I said that I don't think we'll lose a home game this year. But that to me right now is the wild card game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a game we're all going to be at as well. So that'll be
we're all going to be
a good one. Oh man. So should we get into our games to watch this weekend or?
Yes, let's please.
Okay. Let's pull up this ESPN scoreboard. All right. First one. I'll go first.
Sure.
I got a game that everyone else is going to be asleep watching because it's relatively late, here on the West Coast. I got number 7 USC versus Oregon State, who's 3-0. USC 6.5 favorites. I think this is going to be a good test for them. USC's kind of played some, not so great opponents. They just beat Fresno State, but Fresno State was giving them trouble for a little bit until their starting quarterback got injured. And then they played Rice and Stanford, who just isn't the same program they were a few years ago. So that's my first one. What's your first one, Tony?
My first one is Texas A&M, Arkansas, at Arkansas. So
Okay.
that should be an interesting game. SEC slugfest. Arkansas ranked number 10. A&M, I think they were at 23, if I'm not mistaken. So top 25 matchup in the SEC is always fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this loss is going to look down the road too.
Yeah, that's
see how good
important.
Texas A&M is. I mean, I still think their defense is really good. I just don't know, with that offense.
Yeah.
All right. Next one that I got. I was debating between two different games, so I'm not sure where to go with on this one. You know what? I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go where. I'm gonna go with Tennessee and Florida. I want to see how Florida does. They were in a tight one with USF. I think it was the game-winning field goal, right? That got them the game. Interested to see how they compete against Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't really played anyone of that tier, I don't think. I think the only team they played Pitt though, right?
They did play Pitt. They beat them.
Yeah, that was the only. Okay, they beat Pitt. So I think it'll be a good test. I think it'll be a good game. Wondering how Florida's quarterback does. The once Heisman.
I think we know the answer to
that. Yeah.
Let's see if he throws his first touchdown of the year in week 4.
And that's an electric atmosphere as well at Tennessee. Like
Rocky Top. Yeah.
Oof. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's my
about
second
that.
game as well. That's my
Okay.
second game as well. Yeah. And then I'll
Yeah, I
go with
was
my third one first.
okay.
I'm between two, but I think you're gonna say the other one, so I'm gonna go with Ohio State, Wisconsin. That's always a nice slugfest, Big Ten,
Okay.
10-9 type game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm interested to see how Ohio State looks in conference.
So I was actually going to go with the other one because I thought you were going to go with this one, with the one I was going to pick. But
Oh,
I'll go
okay.
with the one that we were both thinking, anyways. I was going to say Baylor, Iowa State, actually, but I think Clemson, Wake. You kind
Yeah.
of have to go with,
Yeah,
ACC.
in conference. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
so you got to see how Clemson does. I'm curious. I don't know. Is Sam Hartman back for Wake Forest? I know he had been
Yes.
cleared of injury,
Yeah,
but is he
I
actually?
think
Oh,
so.
he's
I think he
playing.
played last
Oh,
week.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to him, alumni of QB1, right? Beyond the Lights.
Yep.
So interested to see how he can perform. And I'm also interested in DJ, man. Like, I don't know how he did last game. I had watched the previous game and I wasn't really, blown away.
Yeah, that's seems to be the MO.
Yeah. Okay. So interested in that one. Clemson's ranked 5th. Wake Forest is number 21. Clemson's favored by 7. And I think, are they playing at Wake or are they playing at
I'm not sure. Give me a second. My son's calling me. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, we got a comment. Oh, yeah, you're right, Robert. Shout out to our boy Ryan who launched the Luca to the U store. I wish I had a link so I could post it. Maybe we'll tweet it out after the show. But they got Luca to the U shirts, I believe, koozies, things of that nature. So we'll try to post that on Twitter. Make sure you guys support. Dang, Robert got time to comment but doesn't have time to get in here.
He just wanted to tell me he had boogers in his nose. So
That's
my son has
pressing
boogers in his nose. Yeah.
Pressing matters,
Yeah.
I was just shouting out. Robert reminded me the Luca to the U store that launched.
Oh yes.
I think it launched today.
Oh,
there we go. You already got something.
One of the beta shirts Ryan sent me. Very comfortable. Awesome fit. Very soft. So support our people, man. LucaToYou.org.
Absolutely.
That's a great family. Ryan's a great dude, and it's a good cause, man.
Yeah, man. When we come down for the FSU game, me, Ryan, Kenny, aka the president of the Jake Garcia fan club, Caniacs,
Garcia non.
Yeah, and Colton are all staying at a VRBO together, so that'll be a good time.
Nice. Yeah,
you're gonna have to come by. I think the plan is if we could film a live show all together in person, that would be actually really cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of potentially taking that Friday off of work.
Oh, okay.
I know most of you guys will be down.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a flight that works, but there's actually very limited ones that work with the time frame. So trying to figure that out. But yeah, should we get into our random Reddit topic or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. I only got 2 left in here, so I'm gonna have to make some new ones.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I already know the answer to this. If you could ban anything in the world, what would it be? Oof. Do you want to know what my answer to this would be?
Yes.
People putting their fucking hands over the glass when you go to Chipotle. You get arrested. There's specific police that do that. They just arrest you for doing that. Don't reach over not even just Chipotle, anywhere. Like you go to ice cream and people are like reaching up in there or whatever.
Yeah. Any of those buffets that have like that shielded
Yeah, anything like
glass.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure. For sure. Let's see. Mine would be fucking traffic, bro.
ban traffic.
Ban traffic. No more traffic for
What,
anybody.
what would be the
Make it easy.
solution?
I don't know.
It's just
That
ban.
wasn't
No one.
that wasn't part of the question. You're asking if I can ban
Just
something.
like,
What do I ban? It's
just
fucking
like
traffic.
Thanos, like snap of the.
Yeah, there you go.
Snap of
Snap.
the
Thanos
fingers.
snaps and all the traffic's gone. All the traffic's gone. I don't know. Expanded highways. I don't know, bro.
That's a good
work
one.
from home. Whatever. Something.
Damn.
Something.
Meanwhile, mine is just getting rid of all the people that reach over the glass. I think they're just
That is
as
pretty
important.
annoying, though.
Honestly, yeah. See,
That is
there you go.
annoying.
Yeah.
People who touch the glass.
Oh,
at
that's.
Chipotle too. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
I
even
want
worse.
white rice, black beans. You don't have to touch the glass. Just tell the lady what you want, man. Just tell the guy what you want.
I'm surprised no one's made a video of that. Like someone actually like reaching and just touching stuff, like a comedy skit or something. That needs to be done. Maybe I'll do it. Shit.
Like fondling the white rice over the glass and shit.
Let me try some of that.
Yeah,
and like take some and put it back.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's pretty bad.
God.
That's pretty
But
bad.
yeah, man. We got football again this Saturday. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping that we see, TVD be more active in the passing game. Hopefully he, gets more RPO looks.
Yeah.
But man, I'm excited because we got another weekend of Miami Hurricane football.
Yeah, man. Let's hope him and Gaddis are back in the lab, man. Trying to figure out what they can do, what easily transferable plays and schemes from the Lashley system he can Gaddis can implement into his repertoire, man. Because if not, it's gonna be against the bigger ACC opponents, the Clemsons, the North Carolinas. It's gonna be a slugfest, man. And why put yourself through that if you don't need to? If you can expand, if you have who's touted as one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, first round pick, why not try to figure out how to use him? How to make him comfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, with that being said, it was another good one in the books.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about that baby.
All about the
Absolutely.
baby.